right, well, good morning, everyone. Hopefully you can all see my screen and hear me. If not, please let me know. In the Skype web app, there is a conversations icon. You can click on that, and that's how you can communicate with me. You can also unmute yourself and let me know if you can't see my screen or you can't hear me if you're on the phone, okay? So I just want to make sure that everybody is able to see the main screen here. It says expanding incidents and that you are able to hear me okay. All right. Well, if this is your first time on these monthly webinars, welcome. If you don't know me, my name is Leah Holtrop, and I'll be covering today's training on expanding incidents. So we're going to really show you how to utilize Salamander's command solution in managing these expanding incidents. All right, our main focus today is going to be on the command solution. However, we will briefly touch on the track app, RapidTag, RapidTag Evac, and Salamander Live in order to show you how all these solutions work together to provide that common operating picture in command. Now, before I go into the nitty-gritty of showing you how to use command, I first want to do a quick overview of what command is for those that may be new to command, have just purchased it, and are wanting to learn more about how to utilize this. Well, command is a PC-based solution that consolidates all of the accountability data that's collected from RapidTag, RapidTag Evac, and the track app. And what it does is it puts that into an easy to understand ICS chart format. If you've taken any of the ICS trainings, this chart format should be very familiar to you. Now, unlike our other solutions that are utilized in the field, command is what you would have in your EOC or incident command post, so that those in charge would have all their resource information available to them at a drop of a hat. Now, what they can do is they can analyze, they can manage, and they can reposition those resources. They can rearrange the chart using a drag and drop function, which comes in handy if you're using a touchscreen technology like a smart board or a touchscreen computer. Now, reporting, there are a few reports in command that you can view. However, the majority of the reports will be in Salamander Live, so we're going to go through some of these reports that's available in Salamander Live after we go through the functionalities within command. All right, so any questions before we head into command? Again, if you have questions throughout the training, feel free to unmute yourself and just ask away. You can also type in type a message to me in the conversations link. So you'll see it in here. This little conversations icon, you can basically click on that and type a message to me, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and open up command. I've got it pulled up on my other screen here. Let me just move it over here. So as you know, the command icon is this red icon, looks like this. When you open it up, it's going to immediately bring you into this start incident screen. Now, when you are first using command, there are some setup that will need to be done so that the software can function properly. But for the purposes of time and for this training, we're not going to be covering these steps today. If you need to, if you're a brand new user and you need to do some setup before you can follow along, you can view the command user guide that's located in Salamander University. That is going to have all the details instructions for the setup. But other than that, once you log into command or get into command, it should bring you to the start incident screen. So to start a new incident, really what you just need to do is type in the name of the event. So this could be whatever you want it to be. There's an option up here at the top for a run number. So for this, we're just going to type in command. Day 2. At the bottom here on the start date and end date, this here is automatically inputted in. If you want to enter a different start date and time date, you of course can enter that in. At the top here, you'll see there's a checkbox available for training. So if the incident that you're working on is a training type event, make sure you click this checkbox. What this does, it allows you to distinguish which are actual incidents versus training incidents in your incident history listing command. So under this Find tab right here, it will basically list out all your incidents, previous incidents. So ended incidents and in progress incidents. Next, you have the ability to enter in a location for the incident. If you want to add one, just simply click this icon right here, and it'll pull up another box for you to enter in the incident location. Next, you can select the type. So there's different types on here that you can select from. So next on here is the template. So one of the significant benefits of command is the ability to build pre-planned templates. So you can build out your assignment structures ahead of time and then save them to be used for different incident and event types. Now, using a template is optional. However, if you do use one, what it does, it allows you to quickly start an event and have all of the data flow into a pre-designed chart. And what this does is, again, it saves you time from having to build this chart from a blank slate. Now, the best way to create a template in command is to start a training incident. So make sure that this checkbox is checked. I'll actually show you how to build your templates in here and how to save them. But you would basically just click this here and you'll be able to pull up any templates that you've saved. So once you're done entering in the incident information, click the save icon. So let's click save, and this is going to bring you into your main screen. Now on your main screen, there are two tabs that display specific information. You'll see there's a post tab and a log tab. So just some quick navigational on here for the command for those that are new to this. The post tab is going to be your main tab. So this is the default tab that you'll land on each time you go and start an incident. The template was selected, it will be laid out on the post tab. If not, all you will see are two assignments. You'll see an on-scene assignment and an off-scene assignment. At the top here, you're going to see a static menu bar. This contains drop-down menus with access to most of command's essential functions. So under incident here is where you're going to basically use a lot of these functions. Down at the bottom here, you're going to see a toolbar. So this consists of assignment, company, responder, equipment, patient note, and timers. Each of these icons can be added to the layout area. Again, this is the layout area by clicking, dragging, and dropping. So again, it uses that drag and drop functionality. And then on this side of the corner, you'll see the running bar count as well as patient count. And then there's zoom capabilities at the top, at the bottom here as well, which will come extremely handy, especially if you are working with a large-scale incident and you've got many assignments that's built within your chart. A log tab here, it basically contains all of your incident or event activities, and it also provides a default checklist. This checklist here can be edited. So you can edit this and you can basically create your own checklist. So this is a checklist to do things, to remind you to do things. You know, turn off the water, turn on the water, etc. So you can go in here, you can click edit and edit your checklist. So this will bring up this checklist and you can rearrange it any way you want. Again, for your log activity here, everything is date and time stamped as well as which device did what. So this is going to have all your information on here. From a manual accountability aspect, I mean, this just saves you so much time. You don't have to have someone that's going to be record keeping everything that happens within your incident or event. Command does all of this for you here. All right, so going back to the post tab. So in here, we're going to first take a look at how you can build your template, and then afterwards, I'm going to show you how you can join your different solutions together, like RapidTag, RapidTag Evac, the Track app, and how you can manage all that data when you're looking at an event. So you can create the ICS structure as needed for the event or the incident using this toolbar down here, using that drag and drop functionality. Or if you have assignment barcodes available, you can scan them in. I'll show you how to do it both ways. Now, the organization structure that you assemble here is, of course, going to be based on the size, the type, complexity of the incident and event, and as well as, you know, it's going to be based on your IEP and your objectives. Now, this chart is extremely scalable, and it allows for growth and or changes based on the incident requirements. So, for example, command can be used in a NIMS Type 5 to a Type 1 incident. So first, I'm going to walk through the manual add of assignments. So on here, just click, drag and drop the assignment onto the layout area. Just drop it anywhere in this white area. What's going to happen is you're going to see this box. And then what you need to do is just enter and add in an assignment. So in here, you can just enter in the assignment. Now, because I've already created these, I've got a assignment library, if you want to call it that. It's under this find column. So you'll see if I try to add this, it's going to tell me that I already have it in my assignments library. So it says it already exists. Do I want to load it? Yes. So I'm going to go back in here again. You can either drag and drop it onto this white area, or you can drop it on top of another incident. And what this does is it creates a child assignment. So this is your reporting structure, your org structure. So you'll see in here, I've got all of these already added. So as you start adding assignments into command, they will all be saved and they'll be available for you to select from in the Find tab. So these are all assignments I have added in the past, and that's why they're all available. So on here, if I type in op, they should be there. So there's operations. I can continue going. I want to do for planning. So there it is. Now, if I had barcodes, so if you have barcodes available, you can actually scan these in as well. So barcodes, how do you get these barcodes? So I've got an example here. So in Salamander Live, let me just pull this up real quick so you guys can see for those that may not know how to print off barcodes in Salamander Live. So let me just move this over. So in Salamander Live, you have this assignments link right here. So this is your assignments list. So as you know, if you've been working with Salamander Live and the Track app, that these assignments are pulled up into your Track app. And that's how you can basically manually download these assignments right into your incident from the Track app. Well, what you can do with all these assignments that you add in here is that you can print them off. And you can create what's called a resource book. And what you can do is, you know, you can basically print these barcodes off and then place them into a 3-ring binder to follow your command for easy scanning. And you can do the same process for all of your personnel and all of your equipment so that that information is easily accessible and you can scan them in when needed. So you can basically just select these and then click print. And then what that does, oh, I'm sorry, let me pull that back up. You can select print, and then what you'll want to do is select this design. So the 8.5 by 11 Avery 5199 sheet. And that sheet looks like this. So this is what it looks like. So you'll get all these assignments that you selected. And now these are scannable into your command computer. Now this is what we have, we just call this as a resource book. So we have assignments in here, we have responders, and then mutual aid, and then companies. So any collections or groups, you can put them in here, and then equipment. So you can do this for each of your command computers. So if you have multiple command computers, print off a resource book and have that follow your command computer. All right. So I've got these, and so I'm just going to start scanning. So I'm just going to scan a couple of these. Let's see. So you can see I can just scan a whole bunch and keep going and going and going. So you can see how you can quickly create and build your chart from this. All right. One here. So now you've got all of these that you scanned into the system. So what you can do on here is now you can click, drag, and drop these to where they need to be. So I'm just going to click and drag and drop these into their different areas. Oops. So then you have all of your different areas in here. Now, of course, you can continue building this. Again, this is why the command is used for expanding incidents, because this can go as deep as you need it to be for your incident. And then you've got this, of course, this zoom option at the bottom here that you can zoom in and zoom out as you start building your chart for your event. Let me make this bigger so that easier to see. So this is how you can basically build your organization chart. Now from here, you can save your template by clicking Incident and then clicking Save Template. And there's two options on here. So you've got Structure and Resources. So if resources, if you know what resources are needed for response, you can save the chart as Structure and Resources. So for example, let's say you know the resources for like a swift water rescue call. You know that boat 1 and truck 4 are likely going to respond. So those resources can be added to the template. Now, when you're saving a template with resources, I do recommend, it is recommended to have them assigned to the off-scene assignment. The reason for this is that we know resources may change. So these off-scene assignments, or I'm sorry, these off-scene resources act as a roster for fast drag and drop into the necessary assignments needed. So you can basically just scan them in to the off-scene assignment. So on here, if I wanted to scan in people, I can just right-click, or I'm sorry, wrong one, right-click, and then you can set as active. And what this does is it basically lets your command software know that this is the active assignment. So if I start scanning in people and resources, they'll be added to this assignment. So for this purpose, set as active. I'm going to scan in people. And a piece of equipment. You can put all these in off-scene assignment. Of course, you can drag and drop a responder in here as well too. So the difference between scanning a Salamander tag and doing a manual responder ad is that all you have is going to be some basic information. There's going to be a auto-generated ID that will be created for that responder. You'll have to choose that organization from your list here and then enter in the last name and first name. So you are limited on the information when you're doing a manual ad versus if you have that person's barcode, you can scan them in the system and it will pull out all of their information. So when you're looking at this from the track app perspective, you'll be able to see all that person's profile. So their qualifications, their organization, their status, things like that. So on here, we'll save this as Structure and Resources. Again, if you just want to save the structure, you can save just the structure itself. So you can save this as what you want it to be. So I'm going to put this as test template. And then click Save. So now this has been saved as a template. Again, in summary, if your layout contains assignments only, save as structure. if it contains both assignments and resources, and you want those resources available for a incident or event that you're running, let's say as a drill or a training event, save as structure and resources. So on here, I'm going to show you real quick on how to add a template. So on here, I'm just going to click New Incident. I'm going to name this as template training. So on here, I would click on this box, and you'll see there's my test template. I can click on that, click Save, and there it is. You'll see that's exactly what I saved it as before. So you can see how using a template, creating templates and using a template is going to make managing your incident a lot easier. And of course, these templates are, you are able to edit them and resave them again over and over. So it's not like it's a one-time deal. So if your incident changes, if your incident requirements change, you can basically rearrange these. You can remove these, so you can delete these. So right-click, you can remove this if need be, and then you can add additional assignments, add additional resources in here if need be, and then save it again as another template. Now for resources themselves, you are not able to delete them. Once they're added to the layout area, they are added to the layout area. You aren't, or to the event, you aren't able to delete them from here. Another thing is you aren't able to remove and delete an assignment if there's resources in them. Any questions so far on creating a template? Just want to double check and see if there's any questions. All right. Now, some things to note: if command is brought in after an incident or event has already been started, let's say in the track app, you would want to start an incident in command without using a template. So in this scenario, the IC would go into Salamander Live and join the two events together. So the reason for that is because the track app probably had already added assignments and have resources, and you want those two to merge together so you're seeing the same data. Now, if command created the event first and then track app and rapid tag evac, they want to join this event, you would all be able to do that within Salamander Live. So I'm going to show you how this process works. Excuse me. So earlier this morning, I created events in the track app, rapid tag evac. I'll just call them all command training. So in Salamander Live, you'd want to go to your events list, and in your events list, you'll be able to see all of your events. So you'll see here command training. Here's rapid tag. You'll see under application rapid tag. There's command training for the track app and command training rapid tag evac. Now these I started last week, but what I can do is I can join all these together. Let me just double check, make sure that this is. Let me just end this really quick. I apologize. Let me just change my settings on here. This is connected to a different environment, so let me just save this. All right. Create command training D2 and our test template, and then save. Okay, there it is. All right, so now this is being synced up to Salamander Live. So you'll see at the bottom here it says last server sync 218 at 10:24. So with command, it syncs up, I want to say, in 30-second intervals. So there's not, there's an option for you to refresh the screen on here. So you can click F5, so function 5 on your computer to refresh it. But it does sync up to Salamander Live, about every 30 seconds. Now, if you don't see this server sync information down here, that means that your command is not connected to Salamander Live, and or it's not connected to the internet. Now, command is made to use comms in and comms out. What happens is that if you, for some reason, lose internet connection while using command, anything that is supposed to be synced through will basically sit in queue. Once you get internet connection again, everything will be synced over from Salamander Live. Same thing on the command side. If you did add in resources and assignments on the command side, once you get internet connection, all of that will be synced back up to Salamander Live and then shared to the other joined devices. All right, so now let me refresh Salamander Live, and now I should see my command training. There it is. So here's command training D2 that I created in command. So I wanted to join all these together so that all of the data that's coming in from RapidTag that you have, at your staging area that's checking in all your volunteers will be synced over to command. You have all your resources being tracked through the track app will also be coming through to your command computer. And then any evacuees that's been scanned in through, let's say if you have RapidTag evac, will also come in as well. So on here, I'm just going to select these. Now, just some quick notes on the business rules for joining events. So in here, command, when you join incidents to events to command, command will always be the parent. So what's happening is that these events right here that you created and all their data is going to be joined into this command training D2. What's going to happen is once you join them together, these events right here will disappear because they're all going into the same event. Now, command will always be the parent if command is part of that join sequence. Now, if you don't join this to a command, so let's say you have RapidTag, TrackApp, and RapidTag, whatever incident that you selected first will be the parent. So because I clicked on here, let's say RapidTag, the command training through RapidTag, and then TrackApp, and then RapidTag evac, the RapidTag event will be the parent. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and join these together. So at the top, you'll see once I selected more than one event, you'll see this join option at the top. Go ahead and click join. And then you'll see this. Do you want to join? This is just confirmation. Are you sure you want to join these events to command training D2? If you're unsure if you've selected the correct one, always verify that this is the event in which you want them to go to. Once you're happy with this, click join. And I apologize for the error on here. This is because I'm also working on a command computer that's connected to a different account. So they are joined. So you'll see on here command training D2. You'll see the application command and then joined yes. So you'll see all those other events disappeared because all the data is now coming into this event. So in my track app now, you'll see it'll show command training D2. Let's pull up command again, and there you go. Here's everything that's pulling up from RapidTag. So on RapidTag, I had selected the on-scene assignment as the check-in assignment. So anybody that's checked in through RapidTag will appear on the on-scene assignment. So here are all of the volunteers. So you've got 3 volunteers that were checked in through RapidTag. On the RapidTag evac side, they come in as a registered assignment. So in there, I've got 4 evacuees that were registered through RapidTag evac. So that's what's going to appear in here. So you'll just basically see their ID numbers from RapidTag. And then through the track app, there was a medical and a search group that was created through the track app. So in there, it also pulled up any of the resources that were checked in and tracked through the track app. So there's a couple in there. Now, the one thing I want to note on here when it comes to joining events is that any assignments with resources added through the track app will display on your command chart. Now, if there are assignments within your track app that have no resources assigned to them, those will not appear in command. Now, I know that in my track app, I've got other assignments that I've added to it, but those will not appear because there's no resources tied to them. Once there's resources added to those assignments, they will appear in command. So on here, let me just pull up my track app. So let me just share you my screen with my track app. Just give me a second while I get this up and running. Okay, so there is the track app. So in here you'll see command training D2. So I'm going to turn that. So you'll see there's a bunch of other assignments in here that I had. Demobilization. There was a Leo branch. There was there's staging right there. So this is pulling up from everything. So you'll see that demob is the other assignment that was added, but there's no resources on there, so that's not populating within command. So you'll see that there's a little bit of difference. It's because there's no resources. So if I add a resource in there, so let's say if I move someone from, let's see, let's add someone from the search group over to demob. Give it a second, and you should see a demob assignment added to command, and there it is. So demobilization, there's Donald Brown that I worked on the track side. So now that assignment appears. Now, one thing to note on here is that if your organization has more than one command being utilized for a single incident, for example, command 1 is in the EOC and command 2 is in a mobile command unit on scene, you have the ability to join the two incidents together to create a single command structure. So before I show you how this is done, I do want to make sure that everybody knows that two command incidents can only be joined if they are a part of the same agency and they were not created on the same command computer. So that means that on my command computer right now, all the incidents I created on this command computer cannot be joined together within Salamander Live. But if I had two separate computers that are from the same organization, I'm able to join those together. So in here in Salamander Live, there's my command training D2. Let's see, these are probably some older ones. I have one that's not ended yet. These are probably all ended. I'm just going to go ahead and join this with, let's see here. Do I see one? Here's one, SL training. So command D2 and SL training. So I can combine those two together. So if you look at this, it says command events cannot be joined from the same device. So SL training and command training D2 were created on the same computer. But if I go further down and I have one, I can join those two together because that one was created from a different command computer. So I want to show you that that's what's available as of today. Now, for a great advantage for joining on these monthly webinars is that you also get some inside scoop on any new features or updates that are coming. So I do want to let you know some good news. We are working on a new feature that will be released in the next month or two that will allow you to join incidents and events across multiple jurisdictions or agencies. And that's going to create that single command structure. So you can basically create that unified command. Now, this is all going to be done using a 6-character PIN that is going to be created in Salamander Live. And then that 6-digit PIN can be shared amongst those agencies to allow for that merge to happen. Now, more details on this feature, we're going to post it within the bulletin, so the monthly bulletin that comes out every single month. So you'll want to be sure that you look out for that. We'll have more information on that with release dates, notes, things like that. So we're in process of still quality testing it and then making sure that it's working before we have that release date information for you. All right, so any questions so far on what we've covered here? So you'll see I added those command, and now you've got these additional resources. So you'll see that everything is moved over because I joined these two commands together. Everything is added into a single line. So if I make this smaller, you'll see it adds it all over here. Now, for a large scale incident like this, you are able to add tabs. Now, these tabs, you can add as many as you want, and what this does is it really allows you to zone in on the accountability, but not only that, it gives you more screen real estate right here. So you're not needing to zoom this in zoom out so much that you can't even see the name of the assignments and the resources that you have in here. So at the top here, under incident, there is an option for you to add tab. So on here, I'm going to add a tab called operations. And what this does is it creates another blank slate right here. So you have another layout area that you can start laying out another org structure. So on here, you'll see that I've got the two commands that were joined together. Now I do want to note that when you join two commands together, the resources and those assignments are going to come over. However, they're not going to be laid out in a chart. You do have to organize them into your chart. Now the secondary command computer, they'll also receive your assignments, but those assignments again will not go into their chart. So your two command computers will not share the same chart. It's up to them to build their chart structure the way that they need it to be, depending on the situation. So the EOC that's, the command computer that's within the EOC will have a different chart than the command computer that's out, let's say, in the mobile unit. But they'll all have the same information and all the same assignments. On here, I created a tab called Operations. So on here, I can move these assignments. So in here, I'm going to move these over into my chart. So I'm just going to move these over. Let's see about a medical one. I don't have the logistics one. Let me see. Let me create a logistics one. Where did it go? Oh, here it is. Where'd my logistics go? There it is. So move this over to incident command. I'm going to move my medical over. So I apologize, the screen's probably really tiny, so let me move that over. So I got medical in there. You got your surge groups. So on here, I can do surge groups, do your food unit, fire attack. So you see there's a law enforcement branch already, so we'll just throw that under the Leo branch. You'll see there's a secondary command post on here, some medical branch, and so on and so forth. So you can rebuild your chart the way that you need it to be. And then you can move these over to your different tab. So on here, my ops branch is growing a lot. So if I wanted to, I can move all of this over. So you can move this entire the operations chart over to its own tab. So on here, I'm going to click and drag the operations assignment and throw it over to the operations tab. Once I do that, it moves all the operations assignment and any child assignment or any assignments are reporting to the operations assignment onto this tab. So now I can start working on this tab separately from the post tab. So from the main screen. Now, how do you know whether or not this chart is a part of the main chart? How you know that is by this arrow right at the top here. You see there's this bolded arrow that's pointing down. That means that this chart right here has a relationship with this main chart right here. So if I threw this back, if I put this back into the post tab, it's going to go back exactly where it was at. So I'm going to, again, click, drag, and drop that back to its own tab right here. Again, if I wanted to, I can create another tab. So if I wanted to create another tab for medical, I can create that. And now I can put one that has one for all of the evacuees, anything that's medically related, I can throw that into the medical tab. So on here I've got medical unit, resource unit. Just going to throw all these in here. So again, you can scale this out as you need to by building it horizontally and creating your different tabs on here and having your different charts. And of course, you can continue to build it down. Again, as you start building down, you'll notice that your screen gets smaller and smaller. That's why having these additional tabs on here and building out and expanding out your incident to these different tabs is going to give you more screen space. And also it cleans everything up nicely so that you are able to, look at your operations separately, your medical, and so on and so forth. Any questions so far? Questions? Just pull this up, see if I have any questions. All right. All right. Now, with your resources on the command side, there's two ways you can do this, right? Normally, I mean, if you're at the EOC and you're not going to be managing your resources through command. However, you are able to do so. So how you can add resources, you can click, drag, and drop, again, as I showed you before, and add a resource in here. If I wanted to add one, I can click, drag, and drop it. I can scan a resource in here if I wanted to. So I can scan someone in. Instant commands. So you've got someone. So you can scan someone in, and then you can basically move them around. So all these people are off scene, right? So if I wanted to, I can move all these people on scene. I can move them into the staging assignment if I need to. So on here, you can click, drag, and drop them into whatever assignment they're needed in. Or you can select multiple at the same time. So I can click and then hold down your control key, and you can select multiple at one time. So let's say if I wanted to move these over to the operations, you see if I just hover my mouse cursor over the operations assignment, and then I can scroll down. So again, never let go of your mouse until you're ready to let go. So then I can throw these over into the assignment needed. Once you're ready to let go, just let go on top of the assignment, and now those resources has been added to that assignment. So you can do it that way within command. As you know, you can move assignments around. Any movements that you do within command will be reflected within Rapid if you have version 5 of Rapid, so you have to have the newest version of Rapid in order to see these moves. And of course, you can see this through the Track app. Now, of course, in the Track app, as I showed before, you're able to move these assignments. That's in a real case scenario, in an incident, that's where most of the movements are going to be, right? Your Track app users, your resource managers are out in the field, and they're the ones that are moving these assignments as you guys, as the IC makes the decisions on where there's resources that are needed. Same thing for equipment. As you saw there, I was able to move an equipment on there. You can click, drag, and drop the equipment assignment onto any of these to add an equipment. Once you do that, you'll see there's a add box that populates on here for add equipment. Again, your basic information on here, the ID, the description, organization. You are able to add some basic qualifications on here by just clicking any of these, and then, so if I wanted to add a qualification, let's do transportation, I can add it in over here. But again, these are going to be your most basic qualifications. Again, if you scan a equipment barcode, that's going to pull up more of its qualifications, if there are any that was placed on that piece of equipment. Same thing with a company. You are able to scan in a company barcode. For those that are familiar with using Rapid, you can create company barcodes or collection barcodes within Rapid. Now, a company or collection is basically a bunch of resources. So those resources can be, a combination of people and equipment that are going to be tracked as a single resource. So basically, there's going to be one barcode for that group of resources. Now, you are able to create the companies through command here, but you are able to scan them in if those company tags were created through the Rapid computer. So I have one right here. So let me just scan this in. So right here, I'm going to create another assignment. One thing to note when you're adding assignments, and I forgot to mention this, is that make sure you spell it correctly. If you don't spell it correctly and you click save, it's going to be spelled incorrectly throughout your event. And there is not a way for you to fix that. If you're pulling reports, you'll have to pull up a CSV or Excel version of that report, and you can update it there. But on your PDF versions, they will be displayed as misspelled. All right, so I've got my fire suppression. Set this as active. I'm going to scan this barcode and this company barcode. See if this barcode works. What's going to happen when you scan in a company barcode or a collection barcode is you're going to get this little box. What you need to do is just click on the little arrow, and it's going to show you all the resources that are part of that barcode, that are part of that company. So on here, there's 4 individuals and a piece of equipment. So there's an engine 588. Now what you can do here, you'll see there's a checkbox next to each of these. So this checkbox is green. That basically means that all these individuals will be added to this assignment, into this event. Now if Richard Herndon is not there physically, you can basically remove him from the company or the collection. And basically now it's going to only add these 3 individuals and this piece of equipment. So that's how you can kind of add these individuals in. So if you're familiar with the Track app, this works very similar to the Track app itself. Once you're done, you click OK, and now that equipment has been added. Excuse me. When you're managing companies in here, you do have the ability to select someone as the leader. So the one person that's going to be responsible for the group itself. So in here, let's say Richard Herndon is the leader I can right click, and that's going to give me an option to mark him as the leader. So on here, I'm going to set him as the leader. Once I do, you'll see that his name now turns bold. So Richard Herndon, if I needed to contact, this fire engine 588, I would be contacting and radioing to Richard Herndon. Other things you can do in here when you're looking at managing an event is completing a par check. Now, command is one of the only solutions that allows you to complete a par check. Now, the track app, and for those that have used an older version of the track app, that feature was a part of the old version of track app. In this new version, we don't have that, but we are looking at adding that back in a future release. But how you can do a par check is at the top here, click on incident, and then you can click on par count. What's going to populate on here is this little box, and this is going to pull up all the assignments that have personnel in them. So each of these has personnel, and really it's simple. You would, if you are the IC that's managing this, you would call out to Engine 588, so Richard Herndon, say okay, radio in, say okay, par count, par check, how many people do you have there? He says there's 4 of us. All right, we're good. So you put a check mark there and then just click save. You can do that for each one of these different assignments. Now each time, again, as I mentioned, that something happens, an activity happens within your event, it's going to be logged into your log chart. So if you go to the log here, you'll see that everything that we've done, merging these events together, moving people around, completing a par check, setting a leader, all that is going to be logged into your log activity chart here. You'll see the date and timestamp, and as well as who did the change. Other things that you can do on here, you can add a note and timer. So at the bottom here, you'll see an option to add a note and add a timer. So a note on here, it's just a basic note. It's think of it as a sticky note, something that to remind you to get something done. So basically, you can add a note in here. So note, click save, and you'll see there's a note that populates on here. This note can be removed, it can be edited, so you can right click, you can edit the note, you can remove it. Now this note, this is a question I get a lot during training, is this note going to be printed anywhere? Is it going to be available in a report? It is not going to be available in a report. It's just, again, a sticky note that's available here for you to remind you to do something within the event. And that's it. Timer option is similar to the note, except that what it does, it adds a clock. So if I wanted to, let's say, put a clock on here, I can do so, and you can set a time limit. So on here, like this would be great for like hot zones where you need a par check for 20 minutes, or you need to remove individuals for that 20-minute time frame. Or if you got shifts that you've set up for your different assignments, you can have an alarm clock that notifies you when it's time to change shifts. So on here, let's say it's 20 minutes. You can set the first warning. You can set this for whatever you want. So let's say 5 minutes and 1 more. And then the second warning at 1 minute. You can add your note. And then you have the option to sound an alarm. The alarm, I'm going to tell you, it's pretty annoying, but it does, wake you up and say, okay, I need to do something. So if I click save, you'll see that there is a clock that appears on here. So the clock on here, once it gets to that second warning, it'll turn yellow. First warning turn yellow, and the second warning it'll turn red. And then once that warning is triggered, you'll see a box that populates on here with the notes for that timer. Now, how do you view your timer? You can't right click or anything on here. You have to go into incident, and then you can look at your timers. So you could also look at expired timers as well too. So on here, incident timers, and this is going to pull up all of your timers. So it'll show you the assignment or the company that the timer was added to, what was that timer for, what was the total time that was set and what's the remaining time. From here, you can also delete. And of course, you can add a timer in here as well too. Now, if you add a timer from this screen here, from this timers option, it will not have a clock. Because what it is basically what you're doing is you're adding a master timer to your entire incident, not to a specific assignment or company. So you won't see a clock that's going to be shown or displayed anywhere in here. Okay, so question, how can you re-instruct how to make a member in charge of a group? Yes. So in a company, so you have to have a company in here. So on here, let's just create a company real quick here. So in here, I'm going to create a company under the food unit. So on here, I'm going to create a company. So I'm going to put this as ID is going to be food prep. I'm going to click save. And then I'm going to start adding people in here. So I can scan in. So again, if you have tags, into the system. So I'm going to set this as the active assignment. So you'll see that it turns green for this company. And I can scan these people in. So that's how you can create a company. Again, you can scan in resources and you can also scan in equipment. Once you're done creating your company right here within command, again, you can also do this within RapidTag. Right click, so again, right click, and then you can click leader. So again, the group that you're looking at setting a leader for has to be a company or a collection or a group. So it has to be under something. So on here, that's why we created that food prep group. And then you can right click and set as leader. If you try to click any single one of these, because these are, again, single resources, if you try to click on it, it'll only give you the print option. So it has to be a part of a group. Any other questions on this? All right. So that's kind of how you can manage your entire event. You can build these out as much as you want. So again, this will go as deep as you want. These can go horizontally. So especially if you got a large scale incident, for example, for the Super Bowl, Salamander was used to manage the Super Bowl here in Minneapolis, and the Minneapolis PD had built out multiple tabs at the top here to manage each of the different parts of that incident. So they had, I don't even know, like 10, 15 different tabs at the top here, and they had their different assignments built on those different tabs. Again, when you have that many resources, that many assignments, you need to build horizontally versus down. And you are still building down in this case, but it's just allowing you to provide that more screen space for you to work off on and to view. Now, for reports, there are reports in here that you can view. Here's responder qualifications, equipment qualifications, company, so on and so forth. These reports are available for you. What this does, it allows you to search for a specific qualification, and it pulls it in reports. So let's say if you wanted to see who in here is an EMT qualified. You can basically click print, and this is going to pull up a report. So this right here is the report that populates. Sorry, my doc is not pulling up correctly, but it's a lot prettier than this. Yours is going to look prettier than that. Mine is not set up correctly. But in here, you would see here are all the individuals that have the EMT qualification. And if you need to print this off, you can print this off for yourself to view. But again, this qualification piece of searching them really helps you in zoning in on who has what and where they're needed for specific tasks or assignments. You can also right-click on any one of these and pull up a report for a single resource. And of course, you can print tags from here as well too. So if you for those that don't have Salamander Live, you can print tags from command if you just have command. but the printing option is available for you if you wanted to print in here. So in design here, it's going to pull up all your different design options, and then you can choose a design option for what to print. But most, again, the report's going to be within Salamander Live. So in here, if you go to events, click on Command Training D2, which is our event. You'll see the burn down for your event itself, and then you'll see a kind of like a chart. It's basically a simple chart of all your resources and all your assignments. And then at the top here, you'll have your report options. So you'll see them separated by a CSV file, a PDF file, and your Excel file. So as you know, your CSV and your Excel files are manipulable, so you can go in there and manipulate the data as needed. Your PDF are going to be just as is. So you'll see here's a people qual search, which is the same as what you saw within Command. So you'll see here, just again, select the report that you're looking for, and then you can run the report. So very similar to what you just saw in Command. Any questions on what we covered? It's about 11:01, so we're a little bit over. I do apologize, but I wanted to make sure that I covered the reports in Command versus the reports in Salamander Live. Now, an hour, I know an hour is not enough to really cover everything of Command in detail. I went over as much as I could on a higher level overview, but if you do want more information on items that I did not cover in here, you can go into Salamander University. So let me pull up Salamander University right here. And then there's a Command option, and it goes into what is Command, setting up Command, and then using Command. So here's all the different items that you can go through again to how to work Command. So we went through almost all of these different areas, but more of a high level training. As you know, when you end the event, you can end the event within Command, or you can also end the event within Salamander Live. As you know, before you end an event, just make sure that you move all your resources into the off-scene assignment. So that's just, again, another thing that you can do within Command, or you can do within the Track app to move resources to the off-scene assignment. Okay? All right, any final questions on today's training before we end the call? The question that's coming through? CAD integration. As of right now, not at the moment, I believe. And Amy, you're on the call. You can let me know if I'm incorrect on that. Thank you, Jonathan. But Raina, I'm hoping I'm saying that right. Raina, Renee, I will verify with our director of sales. I know that we've got some information out there, but if you can write in your email address right here, I can confirm with him that functionality hasn't been released yet, and then I will follow up with you afterwards. All right. All right, everyone. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for being on the call today. I really appreciate you guys being on here. Hopefully you guys were able to pick some things up, some tips and tricks on how you can better utilize Command, especially for expanding incidents. Next month, we are going to be covering donations management again. We got a couple of requests from different organizations to run that training again. So hopefully you guys will come back and join me again next month to cover donations management. And we'll be focusing on the rapid tag solution for that, version 5. And then also, I want to note next month we are using a different conference tool for these webinars. I know it's not the best tool in order to use to present these webinars. I know there's some downloading of the app of issues and things like that, and so the next tool that we're going to use is going to be so much better. I think that you guys are all going to be much more happy with it because there's no downloading of anything on there. It's just all web-based. So in the invite for the donations management in the bulletin that's coming out this week, make sure you click on that, save that, and that should have all the instructions in a PDF document for you to follow in order to join that that webinar. I have another question here. Is this training on Salamander University, or we can view at another time? Yes, so today's training was recorded. I will have this up in Salamander University. I don't know when, because I do have to send this and have our development team upload into Salamander University. It's not going to be this week for sure, but I'll see if they'll be able to upload this within the next week or two. But Tony, I will follow up with you. If you need this immediately for, let's say, an event, please email me, let me know, and I'll get you a direct link to the video. Here is my contact information. So training@salamanderlive.com. Here's our phone number. If you have any questions, feel free to call and or email us, and we'll be able to assist you on any of your questions that you have, following up on the command training or on any of our other solutions. All right. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day, and hopefully I'll see you guys next month. Thank you.